All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Welcome, ladies. Happy December. Happy December. Who has decorated their house for Christmas? That's what I want to know first. No, Carrie's shaking her head. No. Oh no, I am the most prepared this year. I'm so proud of myself. Oh, now to be fair, we thought we were gonna have a Christmas party at our house on the 4th. And so our goal was to get everything decorated before that. So we got it done. But then Keegan got COVID, and so we had to postpone the party until the 18th. So we're gonna be we rescheduled that, but the house is decorated and it looks so pretty. So that is fun. Makes me so happy to look at the lights. I love it. All right, let me share my screen here. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to be rotating. I'm going to leave this not in like full presentation mode. Well, I will put it in presentation mode for the beginning, and then I'll take it out because I'm going to be taking you to the recipes. And what I'll do is I will take the links and put them in the comments for anybody that is interested in using any of these recipes. That's kind of how that'll work. And then for anybody watching the replay, I can post them underneath the video as well. All right, so today we're talking, we'll start in presentation mode here. Today we're talking cocktails, mocktails, and how to avoid the holiday hangover. So what we're going to do is sort of an overview first, just kind of, to be prepared, how to kind of think about it over the holidays and parties and really throughout the year, honestly, like whenever, you go out to dinner. And so 3 things to kind of think about are knowing your limits, staying hydrated, and understanding the choices. So we're just going to talk about each one of those things really briefly. So knowing your limits, obviously it's best to avoid the hangover in the first place, right? It would all be the best case scenario if we can go out with our friends, have a couple cocktails, enjoy it, splurge a little, and wake up the next morning and feel great and have no side effects whatsoever, right? So there are some things that maybe we can do to support that as the goal. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. But one of the things that can be really helpful is just knowing your body so that you can make a decision ahead of time on how many drinks you will have. So like how many of you know, like 1 drink is a limit for you, or 2 drinks is a limit for you, or 3 drinks is a limit for you? I am a lightweight. So probably the max I can ever do is 2 drinks. If I'm really having fun and I insist on having a 3rd, then those around me will probably also have a lot of fun. So that's a very, very, very rare occasion that happens. I very typically limit it to 1, maximum 2. Some other things to think about is, what scenario are you going to be in? Are you just having a fun cocktail at home, or are you going to be in a situation where you're eating, and does that make a difference for you? So, for example, I notice a big difference when I go out and I will have a cocktail before the food gets there. That one will kind of hit while the food gets there, right? And then I'll drink the second cocktail while I'm eating, and that one is much slower because I'm getting all that food. It's slowing down the absorption of the alcohol and that sort of thing. So if you're at a party and you're just having, a couple carrot sticks or whatever, just be conscientious about like what your limits are and how it impacts you, and kind of go slow. Because for me, that scenario, if I'm eating a full meal or not, would make a big difference. Some other questions to kind of think about too, and things that you may not think about unless you have had some fairly dramatic experiences like I have, is are you prone to UTIs? I have a couple bouts in my life where I've been prone to UTIs. And the first time I got like 3 or 4 within the course of a year. And it forced me to kind of think about it. And what I found was that I would drink like a Mike's Hard Lemonade. This was really way before I was like remotely healthy. And I would drink a Mike's Hard Lemonade, and that would like trigger a UTI. So I don't know if it was the sugar mixed with the alcohol. I don't really know what the magic ingredient was there. But that particular thing tended to trigger me getting a UTI. So something to really consider is, if you are prone to UTIs and you decide to have alcohol, pretty much any alcohol that you drink, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, the different types, but pretty much any alcohol that you drink, it's just sugar. And a lot of times it's mixed with sugar, right? So that is by itself going to be a big dose of feeding the bacteria that might contribute to a UTI. So if you do drink and you struggle with this, it might be really wise to have like some D-mannose on hand and just be really preemptive about taking that the night that you drink before you go to bed. And that just helps. D-mannose is a supplement that helps the bacteria that kind of sticks on the side of your bladder. Basically, D-mannose kind of flushes it out to help you avoid a UTI. It's pretty cool. Another thing to consider is it close to your cycle? So things like coffee and caffeine and alcohol will impact your cycle. So if you don't have a really good, day 1, day 2, whatever, if you tend to get cramps or whatever, you might want to kind of be aware the week leading up to your period. Like, I'm a little nervous this week because I am singing a solo on Sunday for our Christmas cantata, and I'm supposed to start my period that same day. And the past couple months have not been the most pleasant experiences for me. So I have like no caffeine this week. There's no alcohol. There's massively limited sugar intake, all this kind of stuff. So alcohol can definitely impact your cycle as well. So just some things to consider when you say, okay, I'm going to go splurge. Know where you're at in your cycle, know how many you're going to drink, kind of have an expectation and a plan there. Know your body is kind of the summary.
I have something to say to call myself out. So Saturday night, I went to a Christmas party, or actually it was a Friendsgiving, and it was like an all day thing. And I drank like so much more than I normally drink, like just so much more, because we were eating all day. We were there for like 10 hours. Like, it was like a whole thing. And I completely forgot that it was my cycle starting on Sunday. And all day Sunday, I had so much anxiety, like all of the anxiety. I texted Kylie and I was like, I have the worst anxiety ever. Like, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to get my period. That was a really bad choice. And I usually am just like so on top of it. But because we were traveling so much this month, I've just completely like forgotten, where I was. And I was like, oh man, I would never have done that. And so I don't normally do that anyways, but I guess I just would have been more conscientious. And for me, like tequila specifically seems to I do okay with that because of the way that it gets made up. So I wasn't hungover, but I was super anxious. And I really was like, this part of what she's saying is close to your cycle. Like, that's really important to pay attention to, because it can just exacerbate estrogen. It can exacerbate, tanking your progesterone and your mood imbalances, because obviously alcohol affects our neurotransmitters in our brain. And so just a, friendly reminder, no one here is perfect, but that can happen and it can really affect you. So just wanted to share that because it just happened.
I tend to teach from our own life experience and mistakes. So we're not teaching this from a pedestal of perfection, that's for sure. All right. So the other one is a very, very obvious one, right? Like, we all know this, stay hydrated. But it is a really like super basic tip that really, it makes quite an impact, because a lot of times one of the primary reasons we do get a hangover is because alcohol dehydrates you. And so if you go into the evening really, really well hydrated, and you go home and hydrate too, because sometimes that's hard, right? Because you might have eaten a meal, you might have had a few cocktails, you might feel kind of full, and so you might not really feel like hydrating. But if you kind of force yourself through that, it's really going to help kind of flush things out, keep you hydrated, make you feel better the next morning for sure.
Which is one of the reasons I don't think I was hungover as well, because I was like really pacing myself and drinking a lot of water.
Yeah.
Every single time I would have a drink, I was like, okay, I'm having some water. Okay, I'm having more water.
So back in 2013, I went to New York for 4 weeks to live while I was doing an acting. I got accepted into the summer acting conservatory class thing. It was really cool. It was really fun. But one night we decided to essentially bar hop, right? I'm not a big drinker. I think I had just started drinking a couple years prior. Like, I did not drink for a really long time. I think the first drink I had was when I was like 24 or something. And so we decided to bar hop, and like, so every bar we're taking like a shot or a cocktail or whatever, right? I am not even kidding you. I don't even know how many drinks I had, but I did not get hungover. And I was drinking water, and we were walking in between each one. So we walked to each one. So I was like, that's the tip. You move and you drink a lot of water and you'll be good to go. But that did not happen other nights because I was not hydrating as much and I was not moving. Okay, so here's another thing to kind of understand. What is the alcohol that you're choosing and how does your body respond to it? So wine, a lot of women will say, I love wine. I absolutely have to have my wine. You can never take my wine away from me. However, I always feel like crap when I have it. I feel good, right? In terms that kind of makes me fuzzy and relaxed and I giggle and I have fun with my friends, but then I get really red faced or I get a headache the next day, but I'm still not willing to give it up. So the reason that this happens is wine is actually, when you get it from the United States and when you get it from your grocery store, it's very high sugar. There's actually added sugar. So, it is a fermented juice, right? So there's going to be maybe a little bit of natural sugar in there, but like kombucha, for example, with the fermenting process, that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be like drinking fruit juice, right? So a lot of times with wine that you're going to get at a restaurant or at a grocery store, it's a very, very high sugar content. It's actually added. Then the sulfites are actually really high as well. And this is typically what a lot of people have a negative reaction to, is the sulfite content. And then there's up to 70 plus chemicals and additives that can be added into American wines that that don't have to be listed on the label. So there's a lot going into your wine that you just don't know about. And then something that's really not talked about a lot is the fluoride content. And fluoride is a neurotoxin, and it can also cause skin reactions in some people. And in California, which is where the primary like 3 main American wineries exist, this is where like 80 to 90% of the wine that you get from American brands, they're all from like 3 main wineries in California. And so it doesn't matter if they're different brands or they're different labels. That just means they've put different additives or different amounts of sugar or whatever. But it's primarily from like these 3 main spots, and it's all from California. And California has the fluoride content in the water, and the grapes that are grown in California is very high. So if you are sensitive to fluoride, you're probably going to react to that in the wine as well. I would assume it would only be concentrated at that point. So that's another thing that's not really talked about a lot, that you don't hear about a lot, is the fluoride exposure. So one thing we recommend, if you do like wine, you want to enjoy that, awesome. There are clean wines out there. Our favorite one is called Dry Farm Wines. It's just dryfarmwines.com. 0 sulfites, no added sugar, no added chemicals. It's pure wine from nature, the way like you should have always been making it. So what they do, Dry Farms is not its own brand. It's a curator company. So what they do is they go over to Europe or these different farms and these different locations, to farms that do this organically or biodynamically. And biodynamically is like more organic than organic. Is like the cleanest, most natural way that you can do this. And so they only do like organic and biodynamic farming for their wines, or with the people that they get their wines from. And then you get a subscription service from them. So if you like 6 bottles of wine and you want to have it on recurring shipment, or you want to buy 6 bottles and then cancel and then up it again for Christmas or whatever, you can pause it, you can do whatever you want. So if you are somebody that likes to host or really enjoys your wine, this is a really, really, really excellent option.
I also put in the chat that I love Stella and Dot. I've tried both, and I actually think I like the flavor of Stella and Dot a little bit more. But I haven't tried a lot of Dry Farm wine, so I've tried more Stella and Dot, and I really like them too. And it's the similar, like same stuff. Like there's no extra sugar or anything.
Cellar and something.
Oh, it's Cellar, and is it Stella and Dot? No, that's the jewelry place. It's called
it might be the same company though. That might be why you're thinking about it.
I don't know. My rep just texted me today, and I was like, oh, I should really get some cheap stuff because they are doing like a sale. It is Scout and Cellar.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, so there's also another one, I think it's called Fit Vine Wines. So that's another one you can kind of look at as well. Okay, so beer is usually super high carb, sugar, and high calorie. And And usually it is a gluten product. So we generally would recommend either avoiding it altogether or doing a gluten-free beers. And depending on how picky you or your husbands are, there's a couple out there that they will still like. Glutenberg tends to be like a good brand. Trying to remember another one that he really likes, but there are some out there. You just kind of have to experiment a little bit. If you're like married to having beer, there are some options out there. Okay, so the other one is cocktails, right? So this is, no pun intended, a mixed bag. So when you're going out, there's probably no way to really avoid this. It's going to be full of sugar. That's because there are syrups, sodas, and mix-ins. Now, if you go to like a high-end restaurant, it's probably higher quality, cleaner ingredients than if you're going to sort of a midline place where they're just making like high alcohol drinks with sugary mix-ins, right? So it's going to be, there's a huge spectrum when it comes to quality of cocktails. And so some of the recipes that you get today that you could actually make yourself, you'll actually see you can make fairly clean, almost, not quite, but almost healthy cocktails. So there is a very, very wide range there. So it can be super high sugar, super high calorie. And as Sophie was mentioning earlier, you might find that you respond better or worse to different types of hard liquor. So technically, all liquor should be gluten-free because of the distillation process. But if you're highly sensitive, like if you were celiac, you'd still probably want to avoid whiskey, scotch, or bourbons, or things that are made with gluten grains. So then you can focus on things like vodka, rum, gin, or tequila. And I would recommend checking out Caveman vodka because it's made from grapes. And I actually really liked that one. But I have a funny story. So Sophie said she particularly responds well to tequila and likes tequila. Tequila is the one that is like a no-no on my list because back in 2014, I think it was, I was in Cape Cod and we went out. I got a cocktail on my birthday. I think it was my birthday. And I had forgotten that I was on some like, again, this was before I do what I do now, but I was on some sort of like antacid or some sort of medication, some PPI or something like that. And I got a cocktail. It was like, I don't know, Cosmo Martini, something like that. And then we walked over to this other Mexican restaurant, got like this massive, it must have been like a margarita with tequila in it. Well, because of the medicine that I was taking in the cocktail I just had, it started like mixing. I had a couple sips of this tequila margarita. I was 2 sheets to the wind, like you would not believe. Getting back to the bed and breakfast, I like laid down in the grass. It was horrible. And I did not have that much to drink. It was terrible. So ever after that, I was like, I can't do tequila. And probably wasn't even tequila, honestly. It probably wasn't even that at all. But that's, you smell it, you associate it with things, whatever. I'm like, no tequila ever. It was a very interesting day. All right, so let's talk about healthy cocktails. Is it possible? Well, not really, but we'll try. So let me what I'm going to do is I'm going to share these in the chat, I think is what I'm going to do. So the first one is rum apple cider. Now, this one can go alcoholic or non-alcoholic. So this is basically, how many of you do like wassail at Christmas time? Any of you guys do that? It's like a tradition in my house. So it's basically spiced apple cider. So it's really good. It's warm spiced apple cider. So here's the recipe for that. Basically, what you're going to do for this one, it's you take apple cider, you would put it in like a crock pot. You add, this is what kind of makes it the wassail. You add oranges, cloves, and cinnamon sticks and allspice. That's kind of a wassail base there. And this recipe, you're going to add cranberry juice, bitters, and then you can either add the rum or not. So like with our Christmas party, we're going to use this recipe. We're going to make this. We're going to have it all in the crock pot. We'll have the rum on the side. So whoever wants, cranberry wassail can have that. And whoever wants to have the cocktail can have that. You have some cinnamon and stars for garnish and orange slices for garnish. And you have this really pretty alcoholic or non-alcoholic cocktail, which I love wassail. So this is like the perfect, like, quote unquote, healthy cocktail for me. I love it. Every year we do wassail, the non-alcoholic version. So, okay. So the next one is going to be, yes, poinsettia cocktail. It's pretty picture. I love it when they have like herbs in them. I think it's so pretty. So this is just basically, so again, if you're making these at home or you're a high-end restaurant, you're gonna see it's really, really, really like clean ingredients. So you essentially have your alcohol, your cranberry juice, your champagne, and if you wanna garnish it, you have a rosemary sprig, which probably you should use that because it would add some flavor and some aroma to it. And then some whole cranberries as well. So I mean, that's actually really clean. Now with champagne, you are going to get sugar, right? We can't win completely when we're doing cocktails. You're going to get sugar here, but cranberry juice is like anti-inflammatory and you know, detox supportive and all this kind of stuff. So we'll just tell ourselves that this is like a detox cocktail. We'll convince ourselves there. Okay, this one sounds so good. Christmas citrus cocktail. Look how pretty that is. I love the pictures. I think they're so pretty. They make you want to drink it, which is obviously the point. Hold on. I thought I had the, well, let me click it again because I thought I had the actual recipe up. There we go. Is that this one? There we go. Okay, so this one's basically vodka, elderflower liquor, squeezed orange juice or clementine, ginger beer, and then you have your toppings. So you can make it look really pretty. But it's basically vodka, elderflower, and juice. So super, super clean. Not super hard, but makes it really pretty. And you don't have to feel super guilty about it. So I like that. So then you have like a cider-based one, a cranberry-based one, and like a citrusy one, which are all really, really like Christmassy flavors. Okay. Oh, did you guys want me to put the other recipes in the chat? I think I only put the first one. Just shake your head and I'll add. Okay, yeah. Let me add them real quick. Oh, these look good. There's the poinsettia one, and then here's the citrus one. All right. Okay, so let's talk about some good mocktail recipes. So the first one, again, that apple cider one, you can just leave the rum out and it's a good mocktail. But this one looks really cool. Again, I would actually say that all of these like are definitely on this healthy side of the spectrum if you had to pick a side. So this is pretty cool. You can still enjoy yourself, but it's actually going to be kind of healthy. So these are mocktails, no alcohol in them. The first one is ginger pear. So it has pears, ginger root, vanilla bean, maple syrup, and lemon juice and water. So if anything, you're going to get gut health support from the ginger root and you'll just feel really good after it instead of really, really bad. So that one looks really pretty too. Well, not that picture's not the best, but this looks really pretty. And pear is such a Christmassy flavor. The next one that you could do is grapefruit cinnamon. Does anybody else feel like grapefruit is like a Christmas flavor? Okay, Carrie's with me on that one. Okay. Yeah, I know. Like people associate different things. Like, did anybody like put like an orange next to your plate at like Christmas, or I don't know. There's like different things that you can associate. And grapefruit for some people is the Christmas flavor. So grapefruit cinnamon mocktail here. Get rid of the pop-up. Maybe. Really doesn't want to go away. There we go. And I think I just clicked on free cooking classes. There we go. Okay. So we have the grapefruit zest, turmeric root. So grapefruit is like super, well, and you're using the zest, which is great. When you can use citrus peel, there's so many wonderful things in citrus peels. If you're super into essential oils, a lot of times the benefits of those essential oils are coming from the peel of the citrus fruit, which is pretty great. So anytime you can do a peel, you can actually eat an orange peel. Did you know that? And it can help with bad breath, and it's really cool. You should try it sometime. Not that you may or may not like it, but you should try it. So grated grapefruit zest, so from the peel. And then you have turmeric root, which we all know is like super anti-inflammatory, coconut sugar, which is lower on the glycemic index, cinnamon, and water. So that's a pretty cool Christmassy mocktail option there. And then the last one we have is it may not be super mocktaily, but it's a cranberry spice tea. And it looks like you can make this in a larger batch too. So if you have like a group over or something like that. So we have water, cranberries, lemon, freshly juiced lemons, cinnamon sticks, and ginger peeled. So a lot of these are actually like super clean, super beneficial ingredients. You're mixing them up. You're getting a kind of a Christmassy flavor. You can have, maybe bring one to a party if it's like right before your period and you want to have something special, but you don't want to have the alcohol, right? So those are some different options for some cocktails and mocktails there. Let me go ahead and back. My computer's being super slow when I click on something. It's not really. I did drop it earlier, so that might be part of the problem. All right. So last but not least, when we splurge, like Sophie and I have shared multiple stories that we occasionally like to do. There is supplemental support too. So let's say I did have that third cocktail and I'm feeling a little bit, or I just had two, but I want to make sure I'm good in the morning. There are some supplements that I like to use. So I definitely, vitamin C can be really helpful. So it can help replenish you and knock that hangover feeling. So just like a handful of vitamin C, if you have chewable tablets, if you have swallowable pills, whatever. A binder is like a must. It doesn't matter how much I'm drinking. I will pretty much always take a binder. So binders mop up toxins. They help your tummy. You can use biotoxin binders, zeolite or fulvic and humic acid based binders. Those can be taken with food. So if you want to take them to the restaurant, if you want to take them with your cocktail, if you want to take them afterwards, you don't have to worry about when you're taking them. If you're taking other binders like activated charcoal, and things like that, those would be taken away from food. So you would take that maybe when you're home before bed. Mega IgG, you can take a handful of that. It repairs the gut lining, it helps capture toxins, and helps your tummy feel really, really good. So if you tend to feel nauseous, if you tend to get a little bloated, this combination, along with staying hydrated, could be really, really helpful. And that's it. That's all I got for you today. I hope that was helpful.
So fun. I love it. I can't wait to try all these mocktail recipes.
I know there's a bunch of recipes and I'm like, ooh, I want to try this. I want to try this. I want to try. I am going to make the wassail one because it makes a large amount in a crock pot and it sounds really, really good. And
yeah,
on the 18th. So
that sounds really good. I think I'm going to share these all with Jeffrey, our resident bartender.
Yes, you can probably tweak them and make them even better. He's so good, you guys. They stayed at our house last year. And his version of a thank you was like every night he's like, "Can I make you a cocktail?" Like, yeah, you can make us a cocktail. And he was like really, really good at it. And they were so delicious. And it was fun.
He's too good at it. I wish he was worse at it so that it wasn't like every night, "Hey, do you want a cocktail?" And I'm like, "No, stop asking."
I know that would be so hard because he's like when they're really, really good and they're gonna be really good, it's hard to be like, not today. So
it's a good boundary though for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be at some point. Yeah. Well, what questions do you ladies have? Anything at all about cocktails or mocktails or Christmas or anything that you're going through this month that's completely unrelated? We are available to answer questions right now. Same if you're watching the replay, just drop it below.
I often get a hard cider because they're gluten-free at least. Are they good, bad, or okay?
A lot of sugar.
Yeah, they're super high sugar. So it kind of is like, it's a better option. Like if I was comparing it to Mike's Hard Lemonade, like it's a better option than that, but it would still be like really high sugar. So again, with like the sugar consideration and the UTI consideration, something to think about would be hard ciders. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I know I still love hard ciders too. And I'm just like, I think I may have gotten a UTI after I had one of those as well. So it's been a long time since I've had one. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I haven't put that connection together with alcohol and UTIs. That's interesting though.
Yeah. I'm not sure that it's the alcohol as much as it is the sugar.
From
the alcohol. But, alcohol and sugar both mess with our bacteria. So it could be both or the combination.
Yep.
Yeah. Another idea would be pretty good would be to make sure you go home and take some probiotics.
Definitely.
A little supplement.
Or if you're working with us in Empower Her, then you know about Mega IgG. That's one of our other favorite things to take.
Yeah, it is. It's like I take like a handful of that because it's like if your stomach's hurting or you have some alcohol or whatever, basically Mega IgG will fix it.
Yeah.
Gotta always keep that on. That and binders. It's like always have to have those. Always.
Always.
I have a quick question about binders. I mean, I have some charcoal binders from a detox. They're like a year expired. Is that okay? Can charcoal really go bad? Is that
Question. I've never.
Yes.
That's a really good question. It's charcoal, so you would think no.
I would
But then
Yeah, I would kind of assume not. Like, for example, with like the zeolite powder, or yeah, the zeolite, it's called Zeo Boost. That's a binder that I use. It's like a volcanic stone ash or something like that. So it's like, how could that? You don't know.
it has to be ancient anyway, right? Yeah.
When it's like an earth dirt element, how can that expire?
yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. None of mine are expired, but I've had them for a while. And I'm just using them up now.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I can't imagine. They probably just put that on there so you'll buy more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe it'll start getting clumpy or something. You know what I mean? Like if it's open and moisture gets in.
Well, we hope this helped you guys for your holiday drinking situation.
Yeah.
I will post the replay and I didn't do a good job, especially with the mocktails, but I'll post all the recipes below the replay.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Thanks,
some good ideas.
Colleen.
I have to check out the different wines too that you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
That's usually
Yeah.
it's a wine.
I love Dry Farms. They have white, they have red. You can get a mixed box. Sometimes they'll do like a special holiday box or like rosé box options. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And same with Scout and Cellar, not Stella and Dot.
Is that the parent
they-
company though? I think that might
I
be.
have no idea.
that.
Oh, maybe. No, it's like so cute. I got a text today from my rep that they're having a 10% off 6 or more bottles from now until the 11th and 20% off 12 or more bottles. And I have texted her, like I can give you guys her information too. I've texted her before and been like, I really like this wine. Like for last year for Christmas, I bought Jeffrey's mom like 4 bottles of red wine. She drinks a lot of red wine. I really wanted her to not have a headache after. So I bought her, like I just texted Marley, like, this is the wine she drinks. Like, what could you sub it for? And so she was like, this is the wine. And I bought her 4 bottles. So
Awesome.
pretty
Okay.
good. I'm happy to send you her phone number.
Have you guys ever seen those?
Okay.
They're like straws that like purify the wine because they know everybody knows that it's full of crap and sulfates and all this kind of stuff. But then it's like, I don't know how, it's like $7 or something. You're like, oh, that's a great value. And then you're like, you can only do it like it's like disposable. Like no, that's a good stocking stuffer, but it's not a good long-term investment.
It's funny how it's all.
Wait, who was that? I just heard a man.
This is my husband in the background. Sorry.
Oh, hi. No, that's okay.
He's in the kitchen getting supper ready.
I was like, no one's voice or no one's mouth moved, but then I was like, I heard a man.
Yeah. Nope, it was Daniel.
All right, ladies. Well, if you don't have any other questions, we will see you next week. And we hope you have an awesome, relaxing week. And if you use any of these recipes, let us know how it goes. If you need anything, just comment in the Facebook group and we will be happy to support you.
I'll see you, Carrie, in a little bit for Empower Her. She froze. All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.